We're here with Sean and Shane, the former executive leaders of the PDQ.com corporation.
I wouldn't say former, but go ahead.
Former in the sense that we used to be.
They are here today to talk about their career, to talk about what PDQ is going to be like now that they've passed the power on to younger, possibly more talented guys.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pointed.
I'm just reading. I'm just reading.
Passive aggressive. So, we did bring on a good group of people, we think. We have sort of passed the torch, if you must go there.
They want to use the word former, but it's only former in that it used to be.
Yeah, I think that's pretty well put.
So tangibly, how can you measure what you used to do to what you do now?
Well,
clearing a lot of throats.
Yeah, I find myself waving a lot more to people.
Yeah, there's some handshakes.
I avoid that just because I don't like to come in contact with other humans, but I wave a lot.
Well, we've got hand sanitizer all over the place in case we touch employees. There's a lot of things that a lot of you don't understand about running a company, actually. It happens that most people don't see. So that's what we do.
When it comes to meetings and the day-to-day and just running the company, what role do you guys have now, if any?
Well, I noticed that the new executive leadership team is really afraid to make any decisions that don't pass by us first. They look to us for confidence, for direction.
Confirmation, even down to what to order for lunch.
Yeah. We wanted someone who was free-thinking and could go about their own way of doing things the way we would have wanted them to.
Yeah, we wanted a free-thinking yes man, is really what we were thinking of.
And I think we got that.
I was afforded the opportunity to interview Victoria, an employee of PDQ.com who has reportedly worked closely with the former executive leaders.
They are dealing with it the way they have always dealt with things, and so we're going with supporting them and how they are dealing with things.
Okay, so how do you support them specifically?
Placate is one word. Facilitate whatever is necessary to allow them to transition into their new non-roles that they may have at this point in time.
So we do have an alcohol policy. It is that you drink alcohol, but not really, because I actually don't drink alcohol. But we do allow alcohol here so long as it's consumed in a responsible.
Yeah, I mean it's mandatory, but it's
also not required.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to say it.
Yeah.
So
drinking, it's mandatory but not required. So when these employees do imbibe and they start to become intoxicated in the workplace, I imagine that some of them start to get a little aggressive. How does that usually play out?
Well, first of all, let me just say that was completely unexpected. I don't know what precedent was ever set that people who are drinking can somehow become irrational. It's certainly not something that we had expected. But we are a trend-setting company. We're always pushing the limits. We don't actually allow people to become intoxicated here. They can drink, but they cannot get drunk. As far as the fighting, I'd like to
just chalk that up to them being drunk.
Basically, yeah. But I understand that there's a game that they've been playing that has either incited the violence or helped the violence find an outlet.
Either way, we encourage it. It's drunken bar fight. And it seems to have gone over pretty well. We have people that get into preemptive drunken bar fights before they start drinking. And I think that helps burn off some of the steam beforehand. Because, sometimes people just want to sleep afterwards and they don't want to miss out on the bar fight.
All right. We got to ask this question. COVID-19, it hit everybody. How specifically did it affect PDQ.com?
There was an increase in remote beatings.
I think actually was probably the best thing about it was
increase there. Remote meetings? Like Zoom?
Well,
no.
They took place on Zoom, but we're talking about beatings.
Yeah, remote beatings.
let's just talk a little bit more about PDQ.com, self-proclaiming as a health-conscious company. What are some initiatives that you hope stay in motion after you guys have stepped down?
I think nap time should probably be sticking around.
I think that's really important.
The snacks before lunch and after lunch.
Fifth breakfast is always good.
And behind you there is the smoke lounge. Is that right?
Yeah, smoke lounge. Once again, not mandatory but required, and it's a wonderful. Happy to take you in there and
I'd
light
like
up.
that.
Yeah,
I really think that would be important for people to see.
So why put up with them? Why not just ignore them like everybody else is doing?
There is some terms of endearment that does still exist for these two lovely humans that we have here at PDQ, and they are human. Yeah.
Okay, so these terms of endearment, how many zeros are attached there, if I may be so bold?
You may not.
So life is good. Workplace violence, we're getting around it. It's just one of those costs of doing business, we think.
You just got to power through it, basically.
That's what we tell the fighters.
Yeah. You get better at it.
We just spoke with another employee, and apparently there's another employee that is running some sort of business out of this building.
Certainly.
Do you know anything about that?
Haven't not heard anything about that.
No, that's actually a violation of so many rules. Because if anyone's going to be running a business and making money here, it should be us.
Apparently, he's in the maker room. He's making some merchandise, and he's created a business on Etsy.
Well, if that's happening, then we need to get Josh on that so that he can clamp down on that very quickly.
Josh is probably the one to jump on that.
He's in charge of the maker room, and I trust him implicitly. And so if we're telling him that there's someone running a business out of the maker room, then we need to put him in there, since he is the only one who actually has access to or keys to the maker room. He will put an end to it very quickly.
If you want, we can give him a call right now.
It's good to know. That name actually rings a bell, but
I've got his Etsy address if you want.
Yeah, I've gotten some really good stuff from him, but
that's why we hired him. He's really good.
Yeah.
So the next thing that I need to ask you guys about is apparently there is a late night conspiracy theory radio show, quite popular, being produced in-house here.
We'll have to look into that.
We need to get that off if there are. The one that we've invested in that we allow to be used it's like NPR quality. I'm actually expecting NPR to just basically want to buy it. So it's spot on. Everything is fact checked and very, very accurate.
Jackie from Des Moines, hey, thank you for the call. And I actually do agree with you. Tinfoil hats get a bad rap. There's some things that you have to keep into consideration, though. The gauge of the tinfoil is critical. Absolutely critical. Most of the government scanning beams, I don't know if you're aware of this, they occupy the upper EM range of the spectrum. And so the higher the gauge, the better the blockage. Now, another thing, people generally make fun of the tinfoil hat, saying your hat is lined with tinfoil. That defeats the purpose. Keep the tinfoil on the outside, because otherwise you negate the reflective properties of the tinfoil.
I'm a big fan of the tinfoil helmet.
All right, so in the light of these accusations that you guys have been loitering on company property, there has been some sort of restraining order that's come out, lawyer drama. Can you speak to that?
I think we've come to an agreement. There's always give and take in business. And we're used to that. And it was a really misunderstanding.
Yeah, I mean, give and take means you give, I take. And I think we've come to an agreement on that.
Yeah, so there's some symbolic lines, there's some physical lines. Let's just put it this way: we're taken care of. We're taken care of.
It's the best of both worlds. We're taken care of, and they get to harness the wealth of knowledge that we have of this industry, of this company, of each and every individual employee, including those who we have not yet hired.
assume that this is the last time you get to speak publicly to the PDQ employees. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Oh, I guess I'd like to express appreciation for their understanding that it's really always been our way or the highway, and seeing all of them fall in line, almost like they were automatons, has been so rewarding to me, to get all of their feedback and their intuition, and then to be able to steal that and make it our own. That's
I
beyond words.
just like that they make it about us.
Yeah, and
That's all we ask.
Yeah, it's a very simple ask, and I think they've come through in spades. So, from our heart, thank you. I hope this isn't the last time that you hear from us, but that all depends on how the parole board goes.
The judicial system, really.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today, you guys. Good luck
Thank you.
with your.
And thank you for not making eye contact as per our request.
Yes, thank you.
How's the company doing? The numbers wise, ever since they stepped down.
Things are going excellent, actually, for PDQ.com at this point in time. We're doing well above what we potentially were doing previously. It's like we're printing money.
You'll have to explain that a little bit more to our audience. Then.
Okay. Well, people are aware of when you look up in the sky and you see those trails from the airliners that fly, and you think that it's simple condensation from the jet engines.
Yeah, contrails is what the normal scientist, quote unquote, call it.
Thank you. The quotation marks are important because it's not just water vapor. What you're unaware of is there is an additive in all jet fuel. And this is where it gets insidious, because the chemicals that are added to the jet fuel have a controlling effect once they're inhaled and once it mixes with the oxygen. When it's released initially in the ionosphere, when you're at 30,000 feet, it's inert. As it falls to Earth, and the denseness of the atmosphere breaks it down, it turns into something similar to LSD.
Yes, and once it's in your system, you cannot get it out of your system unless you buy our water filter.
There you go. Now, let's talk about these water filters.
Yes.
We have a special going right now. You can get 4 filters for $19.95.
That's right.
Now, these will filter out, not only will they filter out these contrail particles that we've been talking about, but we're all aware of the evils of fluoridation in water. They say, hey, it's going to improve your teeth, but it's going to rot your brain.
That's right, people. Go to pdqwaterfilters.com/buy. Good night.